All right, so welcome to our Tuesday Mastermind call. Very excited to have Jatana Jackson talking to us today on the hot seat. So we're going to dive right in. Jatana, take it away. Give us an overview of what's working great for you, and then we'll pepper you with questions or discussion. So
What's
take it
up, you
away.
guys? Hey, so it's been a rough morning, so I'm trying to get my brain together and make sure I give you guys something to take away from, be able to run with. As you probably know, Instagram has kind of been my jam the past, I don't know, since June. I really kind of dived into it, and I didn't understand it before. And like I said on the National Wake Up Call, I'm the baby grandma. Like, I don't get it. I didn't understand the point of Snapchat. I didn't understand the point of Instagram stories. I was like, what are we supposed to take doggy pictures and send them to each other? Like, what's the point of this? And apparently a lot of 20-year-olds, that's what they do, which I think is kind of weird, but whatever. To each their own. So I started kind of experimenting with IG stories, and right now my Instagram DM inbox is bananas because people are asking lots and lots of questions. And so hopefully you guys can turn this back around to your team and it will help them grow their businesses on Instagram as well. One of the things I will say is I don't have any expertise in training, and I don't think you need it. If anybody start asking the question, like, where can I go to get training on it? It's like, no, just go do it and experiment with it and see what works and see what doesn't work. Also, go be a student of other coaches who are doing a really good job, or not even other coaches, but other people who are creatively intelligent. So I follow people on Instagram stories and I'm like, oh my gosh, like her stuff looks fly. And I screenshot it and I'm like, this is gorgeous. How can I duplicate? How did she make those layers of those letters? And I dig in and try to figure it out for myself. And so those are some of the things that I'm doing, and I think you can encourage your teams to do as well. So one of the things that I've found really beneficial with IG stories is call to actions. I know that on my actual Instagram wall, my call to actions are they suck. Like, I can't get, you go to some of the top coaches and you see 370, yes, I'm in. I'm like, what the heck? I get 3 people. One of them's my mom because she feels bad for me. But I don't get a lot of responses in a call to action on Instagram. And honestly, if you don't have a big voice on there already, like Janelle Summers, then that might not be effective for you, or for a newer coach or a coach that's just starting this journey. And so I found that IG stories is much easier and more interactive, that grasps people's attention and allows you to build that curiosity marketing that Shalene Johnson talked about at Summit. And so I have somewhat of a loose calendar in place of how I present my IG stories that lead up to some sort of action that they need to take. And it's very loose because I cannot stand structure. Like, if somebody gives me a calendar and you need to stick to this, I'm like, I don't want to work for you. So I have to stay creative and stay loose with what I'm doing, because if I just come up with an idea off the whim, then I roll with it. So if you're a structured person, write out your calendar and know exactly what you're going to do. If you're not, it's okay. You can still be successful with this as well. So if I know, for example, I have a coach spotlight call that is, my mom listened to me today. If I have a coach spotlight call that's coming up on a Wednesday night, then I will reverse engineer that into my Instagram stories to start breadcrumbing it a week before. And then, 2 days before, I'll start talking about it and promoting it in a swipe up, which, by the way, swipe up is 10,000 followers, which all of you can get to 10,000 followers if you're not there yet. I think it's super important because the swipe up thing is really helpful to direct people over to your event or your sneak peeks or your challenge groups or anything like that. So I reverse engineer things to what I want people to take action on. And that's one of the things I want to talk about with my actual story. And I get some flack from actually some of my teammates. They're like, why don't you post your kids more? Why don't you post your husband more? Because I have found, and maybe this is just my personality. Well, you know what? I want to attract people who are my personality. So if I watch an Instagram story and it's like, here's my kid in Target walking around, and here's my kid trying on a pizza costume, and here's my kid, you know, buying candy bar. Isn't she cute? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm here for relief. I'm here for relaxation as a mommy. And so the last thing I really want to watch is what your kid's doing. That sounds really bad. I don't mean that to sound bad, but it's my reality. And so I try to make sure that what I put on social media is something that I would get relaxation from, or laughter from, or feel like I'm getting value. So, you know, I definitely put stuff on there with products that I'm using. I put my workouts on there. I try to make people laugh and be ridiculous. And I try to keep it interesting and fun. But all of that is going to be leading up to a point. The point is either going to be my challenge group, or it's going to be a coach opportunity that I'm going to be running in whatever amount of days that it's going to be. So let's dig into actual Instagram stories. I know actually I've had like, I'm on Jamie Arrear's team, and I'm wondering about, and I'm on James Shepard's team. How do you put the letters on there? So I'm going to share with you guys what, like, literally probably 250 people are in my inbox right now asking. And I've actually been like, okay, let me teach my team first, then I'll put it out there. So one of the biggest questions on the creative side of IG stories is, how do you put those letters up where they like, have you guys seen it? You guys see my Instagram story at all? Let me pull up an example. This is going to be more of like a tutorial than, that's still training, right? So there are things like this. Okay. Wait, it's coming. See the words? That's one of the biggest questions that I get. Is like, how do you get those words to pop up on your screen? I haven't told anybody this, but I'm going to tell you all now. There's an app that cannot be searched by Insta Story that I found. Actually, my hairdresser told me about it because she's really big on Insta Stories with her salon, and it's called Hype Type. Once this gets out, like all the coaches are going to be using it. And that's okay. Like I've started mastering it. My team's mastering it. So now I'm ready to divulge the information. So there's this app called Hype Type, and it's super cool. So I'm in the app right now. It's a purple and yellow little, you can see it right there. Yep. I paid for the full thing. Take the watermark off if you don't want like everybody duplicating your stuff right away. If you want to teach your team first, that's my rule of thumb is once I master it, I teach my top leaders teach their team, and then I'll start going out into the network and sharing, because y'all all know once you start doing it, everybody starts doing it, and then it's not as cool anymore. So Hype Type is really an awesome app because you can swipe up while you're in it and take something from your camera roll, right? So let me grab the video real quick. All right, I'm turning the video down. So here's me doing my crazy dancing, right? When you double tap on, hold on a second. Let me get one without the words so I can edit it for you in front of you. Here we go. So I'm working out. You can actually speed up the video in this. You can add a quote to it. There's preloaded quotes in there already, just like Word Swag. There's also music in there already. You don't need music from your phone. So, for example, you click on the little bars and see how it says add music. So say I wanted to search, I don't know, Can't Touch This, right? I'm just picking up a random song. Then I would type that in there, and MC Hammer's in there. Like everything's in there. You don't need anything from iTunes. Now you will not put this on your Instagram wall, and you will not put it on Facebook because you will get flagged. But you can put it on Instagram stories. So I use Can't Touch This. Right? It's playing MC Hammer right now. And then if I double tap on it, I can either use the little quote section and pick a quote. And there's all these quotes that you can go through. Or you can customize it and say, I don't know, say I wanted to customize it and put Can't Touch This. Can't touch. I can't spell. All right, so I just put it in there, right? Now I can change the font. So I click on here and there's all these options. Watch, hold on. Do that. I could do that. right? There's all these really cool features. You can also change the colors. And then you can slow down the video. Like I said, you can do the speed of the video however you want. You can do 2 times. Right, so now I've doubled it up, or you could do slow motion. So that's kind of my new little thing that I've been doing in Insta Stories that I think will be a fun way to start doing call to actions also. I think the more that you create an Insta Story that is eye-popping and intriguing and fun to watch, the more you're going to get repeat audiences coming back to you and checking you out. And that's the other thing, adding value. Like if you find really cool things that you love, I don't know, for example, I'm like obsessed with this matte lipstick. So if I show this matte lipstick on my Insta Stories and I tag it, my audience, people who know that Jatana adds value with makeup is going to come back and watch my story much more often because they know that I'm going to be telling them fun things like this as well. So it's important, I think, for you to be adding value to what is important to you, to your audience. But I kind of want to do more of a Q&A because I think a lot of people have questions about how to move around and navigate through IG story and then how to duplicate it with their team. So what can I answer? Because I'm telling you, my inbox is full of questions, so hopefully.
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't know if you've run into this. So I've had a lot of success like tagging locations.
Mm-hmm.
But so like there's this one tiny village, I don't know why, in England. And whenever I tag it, I get like 200 extra views.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see those people. So I'm trying to figure out how this benefits my story. Does it put it up higher in the rating because more people from that location are watching?
Well, you're getting more eyes on, and that if you guys don't, I'm sure you know what she's talking about, but if you don't, I'm not going to assume you do. Whenever your business page on Instagram, you can see insights. And so if you tag a location, which I'm telling you, tag locations every single story, even if you're hiding it in the bottom and you want to put Kansas City, wherever. If you want to put Kansas City in the corner, put it down in the bottom right-hand corner, translucent, so that you are popping up somewhere, and then you can kind of play around with what you're, like Jamie noticed that she was seeing 200 extra views. That's great. I would say keep tagging that location, and you can actually see who's viewed it from that location, because it'll say viewers from Springfield, Virginia. When you tag Springfield, Virginia, it should show you on there. I'm trying to see if oh yeah, here's one, London story. So I tag London. So I have 24 viewers from my London story who went and viewed it. So I'll click on that button, and all it does is bring you to the London story page. So with that, I just go through and maybe find somebody that looks like a normal human being and not an advertisement and interact with them, like their page, comment on their stuff. But honestly, there's really not a lot you can do with the people that are viewing, but it is a good gauge that you notice that 200 people, your likes or your followers went up by 200 just by tagging that location. And make sure you're doing it locally too, because I think it's important for people locally to see that you're just a real human being and you live right down the street. And that connection is easier to be made rather than if it's somebody in London and they're seeing your story. Does that make sense? What else? Call to actions. Do you guys understand how to do Carl kind of talked about it at Summit, and it hasn't gotten old. Like every time I do it, it's still Success Club 10 to 20 within the 48 hours that I've run my call to action.
I do have a question. Sorry, I'm going to pop in again because I'm like obsessed with stories right now. Mm-hmm. I feel like when I do a call to action and I'm talking, my voice, they like tune out. And I don't know if it's because they can't have the volume. When you do call to actions, do you do a mix of like picture call to actions like we've seen and talking?
Yeah, so typically I'll let them know that I have an exciting announcement coming at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so I'll do that the night before. And then my call to actions are really, actually I have one recorded in my phone, but they're very white background. I use a microphone, my little Amazon one that I pinned to my shirt. I keep a white space above my head where I type out what they're going to be getting from the call to action. And if I can find one, this will be really beneficial for you guys to see, because I just did one like last week. It was right after the shooting thing, which was awful to have to. Okay, so here's a call to action. So the Fall in Love with Yourself group is now open. You're going to get fitness, nutrition, accountability, me as your coach. So swipe up and join the list because it's filling up fast. So that, I mean, while it's, if you were to look at what I'm doing, it looks really cheesy. But on Insta Stories, it looks great. It's black. I made it black and white. I put the text on there. And then, you know, I don't know, used a microphone that I bought off Amazon for $20. But I built it up. So I put, and you can progress things on Insta Stories. So I put announcement. Next thing was announcement time. So when they click, it's going to say announcement. The next frame is going to say announcement time. And then I'm silly. Love yourself. So that was the theme of my group, was to fall in love with you. So I kind of had a fun song with it. And then this is where momentum starts happening. I create the list in my actual IG story and put names on there. Sometimes they're names of people that I've already like followed up with and I know they're going to join, but it allows me to add 2 names on there. Then I create an image in a Canva app. Right? And I pop that. Remember, you can screenshot a picture and it leaves that black space above the top where you can write on there. Then I move on with my day. Like I don't do too much, all of it at once, or they're going to get really annoyed with it. So I go and I make my Shakeology, or I'm doing a team call. And let me say something about the Shakeology thing real quick. I'm very consistent with my Shakeology almost every morning, if not 5 days a week on my Insta Stories, because I feel like the more things you want, or what you want people to take action on, is what you need to be super duper consistent about. I sell Energize, I sell Shakeology, I fill my challenge groups, and I sign coaches. So those are the things that I want people to take action on, so I talk about them. And the more, just like advertising, the more you talk about it, the more it gets in their head. And so I try to be super consistent every morning. People know Jatana's going to be a weirdo, right? And she's going to be, I even started a basket club. Like, that's ridiculous. But people tagged me in their supplements in a basket and how they went out and bought it. Another idea to get people interactive with you is I created a Spotify list, a playlist for my workouts. And I had people follow, my Spotify. And then I encouraged them to tag me in their Spotify, whenever they're using it. So I've had moms that are like folding laundry, and they're like folding laundry and listening to at Jatana Jackson, Jatana Jam Spotify list. And what does that do? It allows their audience to come like, what's Jatana Jackson's Spotify list? And they go and click on me, and they want to come check me out. So it's bringing traffic. And actually, it's a lot of coaches too, which don't tell your coaches not to do that, to tag me on their posts. But for your challengers, it's fantastic. So if your challengers are using your Spotify workout list and they record themselves, getting ready for their workout or folding laundry or whatever, it's a great way to create a following. I just changed around. It's a great way to create a following outside of your regular warm market of people.
Okay, this is so good, Jatana. Thank you. I have 2 quick things. One, I just want to verify. It looks like you're making all of these like separately, but you're just making them the right format so that you can Insta story them. Mm-hmm. Or are you making them right in Insta stories?
You mean like the workout ones?
Well, the videos especially, I've always thought she must make these outside of Instagram and then post them.
Yeah, for a long time I did something like yesterday when I was just doing the one move. I was doing it in Instagram. I held the button. The timer gave me a 3-second delay, and I went into my place and I did the move. But I do use iMovie to. There's like a feedback. Is that my computer? I don't know. Sorry. When I'm creating my workout videos in iMovie for my actual wall or my Instagram page, I go back in there and I take out what's not going to fit in Instagram for the first 15 seconds. So I know that these first couple moves, if I'm doing a plank in the video, it's just going to be my butt and its stories going up and down. Like, it's not going to look right. So I take those out and then I customize it so that it fits. This wasn't the original video. The original video was the one that you see on my Instagram wall. So I make my Instagram video and then I go and take out the pieces that won't fit and put them into stories. Now you can also put them into Snapchat it'll break them down into 10-second intervals and save those 10-second Snapchat sections and put them into your Insta story. Does that make sense? And there's actually apps now that'll do it for you. That'll break it down into segments for you.
Oh, nice. Do you have, like, what's one of those apps?
I've never downloaded it because I kind of have a rhythm that works.
Yeah, never mind.
But I was researching it yesterday, and I put in Insta story videos, and all these apps popped up about how to convert your video into an Insta story, where you'll pop the video in, and it breaks it up into, 4 15-second videos.
I'll look into that. So you said you have kind of like a loose calendar now.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Calendars are like the devil to me.
Oh, no, me too. That's why I liked what you said, because I was like, I struggle with that too. But what, how are you timing stuff?
Yeah. And the key with the calendar part for me is that I need to be able to duplicate myself. My coaches need to know, all right, we all have a coach spotlight call on the 18th of October. How are we going to start preparing our Instagram audiences for this coach spotlight call? And so I, just like any other social media platform, you want to give it, the week before you start breadcrumbing coaching, I'm on a call, or if it wasn't for coaching, I wouldn't be able to do this, or those little things within your Insta stories throughout the week before. And then I will create, and I probably won't do it because I'll be in London and I won't be a part of the spotlight call. But if I were on the spotlight call, I would start creating a VIP guest list of my guests that will be joining the call. And so same with my challenge group call to action. I'll say, if you want to be one of my VIP guests for my at my coach spotlight call and be mentored by me potentially, swipe up and they'll either fill out a Woohoo form, or I'll create a list in my phone and post it in the Insta story. And then I even screenshot any DMs that I get with, I don't know if I could coach. I don't have a big following on social media. I screenshot, cover their little face and their name, and I say, it's all right, girl, I got you. I can teach you social media. That way, the people who are also following, if they have the same objection, I've kind of handled that publicly. I do a lot of public objections, and I put it out there so everybody else can see it. And I obviously respect their privacy and cover up their stuff. But yeah, just reverse engineer it just like you would on your breadcrumbing on Facebook, and put it into a story format and make it fun and playful, like entertaining to watch. I mean, stories have to be entertaining. They can't be super informative because nobody wants to watch informative. Usually people are there to kind of decompress.
I have a question, Jatana. How long did it take you to get responses on your call to actions? Like, did you find you had to have a certain number of followers? Did you notice a point where it was like, boom, all of a sudden you were getting all of these responses?
Honestly, I dove into Insta stories for fun, just, playing around with it and, taking pictures of my meal prep or whatever I was doing throughout the day. And then I was a part of Carl's group where he had a contest on a weekend. And I said, I've got to do something different because I want to win this contest. I just wanted a large bouquet of flowers from Carl. And so I was like, well, let me try out on Insta stories. So I tried a call to action that weekend, which is weird because normally my call to action has to be on like a Monday or it's not very effective. And I did it on that weekend, and I think I got SC40 over the weekend from the call to action. It was the first time I had ever tried it. And that's where I screenshot and sent it all to Carl. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is bananas. I didn't even realize this was a potential here. So no, there was no prep for it. I just tried it.
Okay. And that's out of curiosity. I love asking coaches this, like, how many people do you have like viewing your story a day? Cause I'm at like 6,000 followers and it's going up, but I have like a couple hundred view the story. So I'm curious as to how many you have,
my ratio right now, I have 14,000 followers on Instagram, and my story, it goes around 3,500 max. But it's always hovering around 3,000.
Okay.
Like this call, I just posted right before this call, I had 434 as an hour ago. But yesterday it's up to 34 on yesterd's.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. But I think a lot of those are coaches too.
Right.
What other questions? Tagging your locations is huge. Making sure it's a business profile is important, so that you can measure things and insights.
Did you see Kristen's chat question?
Oh, no, I
call to action post. Do you share any more details about Shaco or on demand, or is that just through direct message?
I do more direct message. Like, I don't even really say Shakeology in any of my stuff. I say Sexy Mama Shake using that Hype Type app. And I'll use Shake It Off or Country Girl Shake It or some fun song. I'm, making my smoothie, and I put the words on there. And that's the biggest, actually, that's the number one DM that I get from potential customers is, what the heck is in your shake? Like, what are you making every morning? You keep saying you're making this thing. You're not telling us what you're doing. Well, that's good. I don't want to tell you what I'm doing because I want you to come ask me so I know who you are and that you have a question about it. And so I don't really divulge any of that information. I don't even really talk about BOD that much. I show a picture of my computer screen, or I'll put it's that easy from home with my workout on there and my laptop out, but try to keep it super kind of where they want to come to me and ask me, because that's what's the best situation.
I mean, you essentially use it all to pique interest in what you are, what you're doing, how to get involved, and then all the details then go through a direct message, or you shoot them into an organized group that then gives those details or takes them through a challenge pack. Or I presume one question I have for you, Jatana, how are you funneling into into your sneak peek or into your coaching opportunity piece? Like, at what point are you trying to get coach enrollments from
coach enrollments or challengers?
From coach enrollments. Like challengers, I can see you killing it, like tons of challengers. How are you duplicating coach enrollments in this process, or is this not part of that process? Is it a completely different process outside of?
I think that Insta Stories, that section is more my challengers who are currently my challenge group. If they see a call to action, then they can jump on it ahead of time before I present it to them at the end of my challenge group. But most of my coaches come from, they just finished, or they're on about day 15 of a 30-day challenge. And I always post every time on day 15 that I'm hosting a coach sneak peek. And I'm going to share with them a little bit about what the opportunity means to me and what it's done for me, and then answer any of their questions and calm any of their hesitations. By that point on day 15, I've already kind of pinpoint who I want, and I've already started to address them with hashtag future coach, you're a rock star, thank you so much for being a leader, you're blowing this out of the water, you're so incredible, really edifying them publicly and privately. And then once I do the coaching sneak peek, which all of my daily tasks and my challenge groups are geared towards teaching them how to become a coach, it's kind of a seamless process. So I usually get about 2 to 4 coaches from each challenge group. And then the Insta Stories, it's just there in case there's, I don't know, a bikini competitor that is watching, or one of my challengers that happens to be watching and wants to jump on, or an old challenger that didn't jump on the past and isn't going to be able to see my call to action in a challenge group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. No, I love that. I love the step-by-step and the funneling that you're running there. So very cool. All right. Any other questions for Jatana?
Can I ask you, Jatana, is your sneak peek in your challenge group, or do you have a separate group for that? You do that right within the challenge group?
Yeah, and I have a whole call around it because that has been my bread and butter for 2 years now. I create a sneak peek, all of myself and my new coaches from the previous month. They're in there. They bring their prospects in there. I go live. I share my story, I share my before and after picture, a welcome message, and then I do a call to action, and then I give them a cutoff date. So my cutoff date yesterday was at 8 o'clock. 8 p.m. and I went live and said, hey, at 8 p.m. the group's closing to challengers only, so make sure you get your stuff in, make sure you're assigned to a coach on this team. I give the paragraph to my brand new coaches to send to their challengers. My assistant sends my prospects all of the links they need to order, and then they start writing done whenever they've ordered. And then I create a collage. You'll see that come up today, a collage with all their pictures, tag them all in it, and talk about how we're going to transform their lives or whatever in 30 days.
Love that. That's awesome. Because I've always thought of like the sneak peek being in a separate group, not, within your challenge group. So that's really cool.
And it creates a great follow-up list for you and for your new coaches, because if they add 15 people in there who are interested and only 1 or 2 people buy from them, then it's like, all right, we're going to take this list of people out. I want you to put them on a follow-up list, because next November 6th, our next group start. And you can let them know if it was a financial thing, they have time between now and November 6th to get their funds.
That's awesome. And your challenge group, does it run as one long challenge group that, never ending, or is it like, do you have one open every month?
I open a new one every month based on a theme and a pain point. I feel like the pain point is the best way to market myself. And it gives a new fun vibe. Challengers are allowed to be in them twice, and then they roll into my VIP group, which is still fun and ongoing.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you.
I have a clarifying question, Hannah, about the sneak peeks. So wait, you've got your current challenge group, and that's where you're in that challenge group, you're running the sneak peek for the next group?
No, I start a whole new group with a whole new title. So my previous one was Slay the Day, and it was focused on mastering your morning. And I just changed it to something fun that sounded like Jatana, because mastering your morning does not sound like Jatana. So I did Slay the Day, right? And that just ended, and I gave away a prize to the person who earned the most points in the group. And then my new one is Fall in Love with You, which is so cheesy. Fall in Love with You, get it? Fall. That starts on next Monday. And so the sneak peek is open. I can show you guys real quick, because the call to action just went out. And I just got a message that my challenger tried to commit suicide, which that was right before I started talking on this call. So that was disturbed me for a second there. So if you see it in there, I'm sorry you had to see that. What did I say it was called? Fall in Love with You. So this is the group that myself and my September coaches are a part of. And they've already started interacting. So here's my call to action. It doesn't have the challenge pack link in there because I want my coaches to go and do it, but the customers of my customers and I think I only have 3 coaches in here participating with me. They start writing done, and we verify their orders. So everybody has made their orders. Then I just post my workout stuff. Here's me last night. I think yesterday at 10 saying, you got to order by 8 p.m. The group's closing. Make sure you get your orders in. I shared a few things about my food. Shared my workout. And then this is on October 2nd when I first started the sneak peek. And this video is just me talking about my story. I think I actually started crying during it, but just sharing my story of where I was before Beachbody and where I am now. And I'm being my goofy self. But this one I think is important for you to go live in, because as you read through these comments from watching it, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's so easy to look at people and assume it all came easy to you. It's encouraging to know that you've overcome struggles. So I just share my story, and then I let them know what they're going to get out of this group and how things are about to evolve for them if they take part in this challenge. And I think this right here is the bread and butter to how you can basically close the deal for your coaches. And that's what I do, close the deal for my new coaches and help them get an easy win. And then they learn how to duplicate it themselves. Does that make sense? There's a welcome message, my before and after picture, and that's it. And then people ordered. And what am I at? I don't think I'm at SC12 or something from that group, Greg. I don't know where I'm at SC-wise. But myself and my new coaches are in SC from this sneak peek group.
I love it. Thank you for clarifying. And then you'll run your challenge group in that group page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it helps me too, because it forces me to take people out. Well, my assistant takes people out. She gives me a rundown list of everybody that she removed that didn't order. Same with my new coaches. If they have 4 people that we take out that didn't order, then they have a follow-up list for the next month. And my follow-up list is like this notebook that never ends of people that didn't end up purchasing.
I have a quick continuation question on that. So for your VIP groups, you said they do 2 themed challenge groups and then your VIP group that's ongoing. Do you have coaches in that VIP group with you? Not like, I mean, obviously some of them would upgrade to coach. How do you handle that?
So I have discount coaches in my VIP group, but if they are coaches working the business, then they they're out that one. But they're already learning to, like, they're apprentice coaches in the Fall in Love with You group, right? And then I'm teaching them how to run their own groups. So I've got to kick them out of the nest. Like, they can't just like sit there and post their workouts with my customers. Like, what's the point in that? It's not getting them anywhere. So yeah, if they're a discount coach, I'm still going to be their fitness coach, and I'm still going to help them because they enrolled in it because they just want the discount Shakeology, but I still want to keep them accountable to their fitness journey.
Absolutely. I need to like adjust a little bit, just a few degrees, but I like this model too. I'm like, where is there a happy medium? Because I think leaving the nest is so important, and mine have had the cohorts for a while, and now some of them have been in a cohort for a year, and I'm like, no, you guys are cozy in your cohort. This is why you're not growing. Like, break up together. And so, but then some of them just won't be ready for that, right? Like, they've had each other, like they've had their own little nest, because I kicked them out of mine, and then they had their own with each other. But there's a couple that they really truly like aren't really working the business. So I'm like, well, where would they go? So that would be a great option to give my team something a little different, because they would be kind of more than my discount coaches just stay in my challenge groups. But I like having something that's a little bit more of mine, and not shared. Sometimes I'm like, why does everything I do have to be shared with my team? Because I feel like I lose my own voice, not in a bad way, but like, I feel like I lose my personal touch with some of my clients.
Yeah, no, and I want my VIP group to be my people, and like I said, my discount coaches who I still take ownership over as their fitness coach. But the challenge group sneak peek with your brand new coaches is the I do, we do. Now you create one. What do you want to call it? Oh, you want to call it November to Remember? Great. Let's make a cover photo. I help them make a cover photo. I help them come up with the announcement. I help them plan out their Insta story. It's a lot of hand-holding for the very first time, because we're doing it together. Put me in the group. Who are you going to, do you have any coaches that are going to do this with you? And they do it. They run it. They have all the posts already created for them. They don't have to recreate that. And then the next one, they are going to do with their prospect or their new coaches. And so it's very duplicatable. Craig's like, okay, I got to get to the next meeting.
You're like reading my mind, and I have to use the bathroom. I'm like,
Stop talking, Jatana.
No, it's good. Like, this is what these are for, like, to give the information. And I love that there have been so many questions and clarifications and ways. Again, like, I don't ever want people that are, on the call, or if they're listening to this, to feel like you have to recreate the wheel. One of the things that I feel like paralyzes coaches is trying to reinvent all the time. So, Jamie, I like the way that you said it. Like, it doesn't mean, just how can you nibble around the edges a little bit with these ideas and incorporate some of the principles that have been good and, into what you're doing. So Jatana, thank you for sharing. Thank you to everyone that was on and for asking great questions. And we will see you back here again next week.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.